Because what makes me smile, especially letting agencies, they moan about their staff not attracting landlords, but they bonus the staff on move-ins. Well, if what gets bonus gets measured and gets done, doesn't it?
It does. It has a big influence on it, and of course, but also I think that the levels of remuneration in this industry. Again, I'm generalising, but I think they've fallen way below what they used to be, and too many people now are earning, I think, far too little.
Is that because? Do you think? I was at a conference of UK and Australian estate agents a few weeks ago in London, and it amazed me that in Australia, and I know you have a lot of dealings with Australia with Josh Fegan coming over, is people actually want to be an estate agent over there, and they almost take personal responsibility on their own training. You know, there's the Big ARIC conference, and you know it's $1,000, which is £600 in English money, and they pay for it out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
You ask a neg to pay for their own training, and they'll run a while. Why do you think people just fall into a state agency in the UK as opposed to want to be a state agent?
I think the problem stems from actually the fees issue. We don't charge enough money to pay enough money, right?
Okay, so that's a great. Let's talk about fees then. I mean, fees. You've tracked fees with your home buying survey.
Yep.
They've gone down, haven't they?
They have. My expectancy, and we actually are about to launch this year's Home Moving Trend Survey. And by the way, if any of your viewers would like to take part, again, it's for free. And if they take part and they get a sufficient number of results, i.e., a sufficient number of their clients respond, they get their data and they get a copy of this summary so they can see how they compare against it. So all for free, right? We do it to add to our intelligence, knowledge, whatever you want to call it. And what we've seen over the years is that the fees have basically been tracking down. And my expectancy for this year is we're going to see that the average will actually hit or go, you might even go slightly below 1%. It's been, for sales, it's been 1%. It was just fractionally above last year, but I'm talking about tiny fractions, plus VAT, okay? And by the way, we do not include the upfront models. So the purple bricks of this world are not included in that assessment. So you can't say that it's them that drag the averages down. Well, not insofar as actual, they don't form part of this criteria. They may well have had an impact as to why agents and solutions.
That's what I want to come on to.
Yeah. So and the thing is, back to the people piece. If you're not charging enough money, right? You've got two main costs in the estate agency. You've got marketing and you've got people, all right? And the people cost typically is far and away the biggest one of all, right? If you're not making the income, you can't pay it out in terms of, this is basic economics.
Okay.
And to my mind, every time we're reducing our fees, what we're effectively doing over a period of time is reducing the likelihood of our ability to attract the brightest talent. And therefore, higher fees is fundamentally linked to higher service in terms of the talent that we can attract. So, I feel that we've this has been going on. It's not been an overnight thing, Chris. It's been a gradual erosion going down and down and down.
Why do you think that has been? You've been doing the survey for 10 years. Purple Bricks has only been on the block for 5-ish years, and it was dropping before.
Yep.
Why? What do you think? I have my opinion, but I'd like yours first.
Okay, so I think it's a combination of things, but principally, the number one reason is that I think agents have as their principal driver the winning of the instruction, and that's where, if you like, they get off on it. Did we win it? Yes or no? Winning the instruction.
And isn't it amazing how the loss of the listing is like you've torn your heart from you?
Yes, and the thing is, if I know a good business when I ask the question, what's your client look like, and what do they not look like? And a good estate agency can tell me both who their ideal clients are and the sort of people they will not work with. Okay, and the trouble is, too many will take on anybody. Right? It doesn't matter. We'll take on anybody. But you can't. Every business should have a sweet spot in terms of the clients they seek to attract. They should also have a "you're not coming in," right, a policy to people who are not appropriate. And quite frankly, I think that because of this driver of winning the business has been the key thing.
It's the only thing, isn't it?
Well, it is for some, and the consequence of that is that it also leads to overpricing in terms to win the instruction, reduced fees. It creates a culture of almost desperation in some instances. It creates a short-termist approach. It causes marketing to all be focused on the here and now, as opposed to persuading people over a longer period of time. So I think it engenders some really bad habits.
Do you think we're looking for almost shortcuts and the short-term hits as opposed to delayed gratification?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, Josh Vegan had this fantastic idea. That he was over here a couple of weeks ago, and he came up with this lovely idea. He said, forget the annual anniversary. He said, what about make it an annual checkup? And I really like that idea in terms of actually calling somebody up. Chris, hi, it's Peter. It's time for your annual checkup. When's a good time in the next 2 weeks? And for me to come round. Now, if I come round and I've brought with me what I either know or can imagine would be your next move up in terms of your likely aspirational move, could I actually persuade a number of people, right, who weren't thinking of moving, right, to actually engage and think, wow, and how many people actually truly know what they can afford or what their property is worth and what they can move up to?
Not many times.
And a third, we'll confirm this after the home moving trends, but historically, a third of all moves have been discretionary for lifestyle, not stage. So I think there's not nearly enough of that sort of initiative in terms of trying to help people to understand that they can move if they wish to.
So this is building a relation. What I find with the Australians is that they see you work with an agent for life, like a relationship sort of thing. I mean, I believe it was Spectre said only 12 or 13% of buyers go back to the estate agent that they saw. I mean, that's disgusting, isn't it?
It's not any surprise though. I mean, they effectively, again, another veganism. We send them to the estate agency orphanage. I mean, we completely and utterly have nothing to do with them. We've taken their money. Thank you very much indeed. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Off we go. It's just wrong. And ultimately, they're missing a huge trick because so many of these people, their circumstances will change. They'll become landlords. They'll want to buy investment properties. They might want to be helping their children get on that, and all the above. So I think we use the term becoming a trusted advisor, and it's how can an agent go from being transactional to a trusted advisor. And again, the very, very best ones, and there are a number of them, certainly at least 500 of them, who are exceptionally good at this stuff, deliver a brilliant service. But if I look at the majority,
Yes.
right, the vast majority of agents ignore their clients once they've received the cheque.
Is that endemic of society wanting things now and not playing the long game? I think is that just an estate agent, the type of people attracted to estate agency play the short game and not the long game?
Look, I have more intimate relationships with my hairdresser, butcher, and dentist than I do with estate agents that I've actually transacted with, insofar as they keep in regular contact with me. Now, one or two of your viewers might say, well, that's because you have your hair cut more often than you move home, and you buy your meat from the butchers more often. I get that. But the point is, they've developed systems and processes. My dentist has a system, it's an automated system that sends me a text every 6 months to remind me that my next checkup is due.
Yes.
And my hairdresser, every 4 weeks, sends me a thing to say, Peter, probably due for a haircut. When's a good time? Call me to make an appointment. These are simple things which we can do as estate agents to facilitate a much better and healthier ongoing relationship. Instead, we just are too transactional. I also think that we miss a massive trick in terms of, particularly those who've got great property management businesses. Right now, at home, I've got a to-do list in terms of my house. It's quite an old house. I've got a to-do list that's running to pages. I mean, I've got all sorts of issues with a boiler that's not working, I've got plumbing issues, I've got redecoration needed, I've got a fence that's fallen down. Just let's come to the top line, right? Who am I going to call for all these things? And the obvious person, surely, is the estate agent. Because a good estate agent will have contractors for all these things. And then if I've got that ongoing relationship, they can make money on it. By the way, they can set up a concierge
And then
service.
who are you going to call when you do want to sell?
Exactly.
I mean, this is what the Aussies do.
Yeah, they do, and they do the best ones. I have to say, right. We hear about the best Aussies. Okay, there's an awful lot of dross there as well. I'm telling you now, some of them are, but their best are very, very good, as our best are very, very good. But what we're commenting on, Chris, today is the industry as a whole, and the cream, the best, is in a very narrow band, right? When you get below a certain average profit, it is awful. And by awful, I mean they don't answer the phones, they don't respond to inquiries, they take an age.
Is the cream in Australia bigger?
In certain locations, perhaps, yeah, certain city locations, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, the main cities, yeah. But there's an awful lot of rural businesses, semi-rural businesses that are pretty poor. I think the big difference is that they attract a certain type of person and they remunerate those people extraordinarily well.
Well, let's move on.